Hi there, I'm Lara from 5 out of 4 Patterns, and welcome to Sewing School. Today we're talking about the full bust adjustment. This is an adjustment that is commonly needed for many women, and today we're going to tackle just one way that you can achieve a full bust adjustment. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's dive right in. Before we get started with all of our adjustments and our lines and what have you, we really need to have all of our equipment or just our supplies in place. So we've got a couple of things to measure with. We've got some markers, we've got tape, we've got extra paper, we've got our pattern piece, and of course we've got our tutorial. If you do not have this tutorial on hand, you will find it in the blog post that I will link in the description box below that you can print out or use on your smart device, however you'd like to use. But we are going to be following this tutorial to the T, step by step today. Let's get started. For those that are unaware of what their needs might be, you might need a full bust adjustment if your full bust measurement is 4 inches or more than your over bust measurement. And you will find all this information on the tutorial as well. It has measurements, everything you need. Now, first let me say that there are many ways to do a full bust adjustment. Today we're just going to be working on one of those methods. We may come back and do other methods, but for today, we're just going to work on this particular one. But just be aware that there are multiple ways to achieve this adjustment. So I've already done the first step for us, and that is to mark the apex of the bust on this bodice piece. Now, what that is just simply the center of the fullest part of your bust. You can put this pattern piece up to your body and find that and mark it. You can use another shirt that fits properly and mark it. Or you can do what I've done is it's kind of a usually this works kind of thing is you go to about the midpoint of the bodice vertically and then a few inches below the arm ski here and mark your dot. So this is what we're calling our apex. This is something you'll have to find. It's unique to every woman's body. So we've done the first 2 steps. We've cut out our pattern. We have marked the apex. We are now on step number 3. Using our straight ruler, we're going to draw a vertical line from our apex to the waist, to the waistline of the pattern. So, and I'm going to use a blue marker. I'm going to follow as best I can exactly what our printed PDF is doing. Okay, so all right, so we've got our blue line. Now we are going to draw a second line from the apex to the arm ski, and you'll want to draw it approximately the bottom third. So we're going to do that with a green marker. Okay, so we're just going to eyeball it a little bit. It's approximate. And we're going to take our green marker and go up there. All right. Now we're going to draw a third line, a horizontal line with a red marker from the apex to the side seam. All right. There you can see we've got the apex, we've got line 1, line 2, and line 3. Last, we're going to draw a horizontal line approximately 2 inches from the waistline, from the fold line of to the original blue line. So here's our original blue line. This is the fold line, and let me write that in just so we have no confusion here. There's our fold line. Okay, so we're going to come up 2 inches from the bottom, and let me use orange for that. So let's just make this real simple here. And we're just going to mark it. Okay, and now let's connect our lines. And we're going to stop. We're going to stop at this blue line. My marker doesn't want to work. There we go. I hope you can see that. Okay. All right, so we have our lines. It looks like a bit like a puzzle right now. But we have our 4 lines. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is 4. This marker does not want to work. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay, that is the first things that we are doing. We are drawing these lines. The next, these are going to become our cut lines for our hinges. I love doing adjustments like this because it really is like taking a puzzle apart and then making a new puzzle. It's super fun. So I'm grabbing my scissors, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the blue line up from the bottom to the apex. Okay, so we're going to start that first. So to the apex. And there, I've done it. Okay, so we have our first line. Then we're going to go on through the green line, the tooth, number 2, towards the arm, the sleeve opening here. But we're going to stop before we go through about 1/8 of an inch or so. That's going to help our hinge there, but we cannot go all the way through. First, let me make sure my paper is all taped properly so I don't fall apart here. There we go. So about there, see, and how we already have this little hinge here. Okay, so that's the first cut and the second cut. Now we are going to cut our red line from the side seam and stopping short of the apex. So we're not going to go all the way through. So let me turn this way so that I can get it at a better angle here. So we're going to cut there. Okay, so there we have 3 cuts, and you can see, if I'm spreading it all out, you can see where they are. 1, 2, 3. Okay, on to our next step. We are going to slide the bottom left piece down and out to our desired full bust adjustment width. We can use what we have, our grid on here, to help us to do that. Excuse me, my goodness, can't talk. I'm only going to slide it just a bit. So out about 1 inch. That's all I'm doing, okay? And you can see what I've done there. And you can see what we've got here, how it changes. This automatically moves. As I pull it out and down, we have an automatic movement here. See, I could come out. Okay. All right, in the PDF, you'll see that we have added 1 inch just as I've done here. If you need more room, you will simply just need to increase how far you spread the piece. Now moving on to step 6. You can see down at the orange line that your bodice is no longer even. You can see that. Do you see what I'm saying here? This comes down further. We're going to cut through the orange line all the way, from side to side, all the way through, and realign it to match the bottom left piece. So, if I can get in here, there we go. We're going to cut all the way across. Okay, so we've got it all the way across. And we're just going to align it with the bottom right here. So not much. But now you can see we've got this even line there. I've grabbed So step 7, we are going to grab some tracing paper, or for me, I just taped 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper together to get a bigger sheet. And we are placing our bodice on top and aligning all of our pieces just as we did to get exactly what we had before. It helps to use a clear straight ruler to make sure you're leaving the correct amount of space and you have a straight horizontal and vertical lines. You're going to hold it down with pattern weights or whatever you have handy. I haven't held it down with anything just to make it easier for you guys to see. So now that is step 7. Simple as that. Getting some paper and realigning it. Now we're on to step 8. Let me grab my ruler. And it says align your ruler and draw the vertical line onto your back paper. So your tracing paper or whatever you've used. You're going to draw this line. This is your reference line. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to draw my reference line. Okay, so I've drawn it all the way and this is why I use pattern weights, to the bottom here, okay? Now, we're on to step 9, and it says tape your side hinge back together, being careful not to stick it to the page underneath, to the paper underneath. So this is our side hinge. So it's our cut 3 and our line 3, and we're bringing it back together, and we're going to tape it, okay? That's it. That's step 9. Step 10. Before you taped the hinge together, the hinge was at the apex. Now you're going to cut the opposite way. So we're going to cut this way. I'm sorry, we're going to cut this way. Okay, move this out of the way so you can see. So our hinge was at the apex, and now our hinge is going to be here. Okay, different kind of hinge there. Now, that's it. You've made just a different hinge. That's step 10. Step 11, we're going to move the bottom left section up over the arm ski hinge right here, up over the sleeve opening hinge that we just made, and realign it with the reference point that we drew. Our reference point is right here. This eliminates your need for a dart. So, just going to bring it up like this. Can you see that? I'll show you again. So we're here, okay? Bring it up and meet that reference point. All right, so let's tape that into place. We're going to need to tape that. I don't want that going anywhere. Okay. Now, step 12, it says draw a curved line from the side seam at the waist to meet the bottom right piece here. Okay, so we're going to draw a curved line. I'm just doing dots just like the tutorial does. And here we are. Okay, and it meets the waist we have made here. Step 13. Trace around the entirety of your piece and cut it out to make your new pattern piece. Simple as that. All right, so we're almost done. We've completed step 13, where we have traced around the entirety of our pattern piece, and we've cut it out to make our new pattern piece, which is right here. The last thing we need to do is bring the waist back in. So we're going to put our old pattern piece back together and tape it. So we've done that, and you're going to now overlay the old pattern piece to the on top of the new pattern piece. All right. The center front is now longer. You can see that. And even though it looks like the side seam has not gotten longer, it really hasn't. So we do need to pull the waist back in to match that of the original pattern. So that moves us on to step 15. Mark the waistline of the original pattern on your pattern FB, on your full bust adjustment, your new pattern piece. So that's here, okay? That's step 15. Step 16 says the last step is to draw a new side seam line. You do not want to take away from the width that you added for the bust up in here. You don't want to take that width away. So you're just trimming off the side seam without interrupting what the true adjustment that we made. So what you want to do is start a few inches down from the bust line. So here-ish, okay, give or take. And sometimes it's easier to do this with pencil first, just so you can tweak it if you need to. But you're going to draw an angled line down. Okay, you can use a French ruler or whatever you need to use to achieve this. But I will draw from a few inches below our adjustment, the fullest part of our adjustment, to the marked waistline, which we marked down here with this. So we're just gonna Sorry, I didn't want to move that. Just going to gradually bring it in. Okay. And I'm not being super precise, and you could be more precise. And this, it's always best to make a muslin just to make sure your adjustments are correct and that they work for your body. Just because you try it one time doesn't mean that first time is going to work. So it's going to take a little bit of tweaking. And I don't usually do full bust adjustments. I don't need them for me. So I don't have a lot of practice in these. My daughter needs them on occasion, but I don't have a ton of practice. So practice makes perfect in these. So then with this, and so you're going to cut. There we go. And so you can see that we brought our waist in. We did not want the waist to change. And let me show you the difference between the two, the original and the new. There we are. So you can see that this is the same, but we've just added more room in here. And as you make your muslins, you're going to find that perfect amount for your body or whoever body it is that you're sizing for. But basically, that's it. You need to make your muslin and see how you like the fit and make the tweaks appropriately. But there you have it. That's our full bust adjustment. I hope that you learned as much as I did the first time I attempted a full bust adjustment. I also hope that you will join us next time for sewing school. Bye.